Um, does anyone know the year that TAG was formed? 1999, you're right. So that's the year that Napster was released, the year that SpongeBob was released, which is amazing. It still has a big following with the little kids. I'm amazed by that. It was also Internet Explorer 5.0. A number of things have changed since 1999. With that, the culture, bringing the people together around technology to bring innovation and grow the market. So TAG's a great thing, and really proud to be speaking here today. So at Equifax, we are on a mission to help people live their financial best. We have a massive transformation underway. We're well underway on this transformation, changing around how we ingest data, process data, how we organize it, how we create new abilities to bring cutting-edge data science capabilities to our customers, moving our compute and pretty much everything we do into the cloud, how we collaborate together as an organization and come together on various activities, and the skill sets that we have within the company. First off, can everybody hear me okay back in the back? Okay. So, first let's go over the technology part. Technology, obviously cloud brings a lot of promises around speed and agility, a very important one around security, how security is built into the way you use the platform, and gives you flexibility on how you secure the various assets and your customers alike. How you deploy and build and deliver solutions in a quicker, less cost-intensive way. It brings the way to interact easily with your customers and partners, and it's always on, so you can depend on it, and you can scale up and down according to demand. But you can only achieve those things if you have the right culture and the right skill sets and the right philosophies on how to approach problem solving together. Taking what you knew and applying it to cloud is the same as taking your big box computer that you had from 1999 and putting it in the cloud. You're only going to get certain benefits, you're not going to get the full benefits. So we believe we have to transform our whole company around how we work together, how we create a culture of innovation, and how we come together across company lines to deliver things quick and in the best-in-class way in the cloud. So let's talk a little bit about the opportunity. Equifax is a company that was founded in 1899, so that's 121 years ago. Safe to say cloud computing wasn't happening back then. We have also along the way, we've executed a lot of merger acquisitions around data assets, computing, market placement, for a number of reasons. Those data assets added to our technology stacks. We also, like every large enterprise, have the typical IT sprawl that happens over time, where you have many systems, many technologies, and some work well together and others don't. We also, with all those acquisitions, had many data centers. So you could say we had a lot of legacy to switch out and a lot of standardization to happen across the board. Along with that, we also wanted to look at our products and our services and think about how to best align them for the future. So how we approached working with a customer 10, 15 years ago might have been, let's create a big pipe for you to get all your data in a custom message. It might have been, here's this bigger solution for you. But in the modern time or going forward, it really should be about understanding how our customers need to interact with us, creating generic services with the right granularity for different scenarios, and being able to put those together for the different use cases we solve. So it takes rethinking our products, rethinking our services, as well as the tech stack. We also wanted to focus a little bit on the experience. So think about how you go from contracting, from sales to contracting to getting somebody up and running, the pre-sales activity, the engineering, the support, and then eventually get them to production when you're doing an integration with a company. For us, we really are aimed at how do we automate the experience all the way from discovery through production. So where do APIs fit into this? For us, APIs are an ability for us to innovate with our customers, it gives us the ability to create an innovative and creative ability for people to discover, self-serve, and then test, and then try again. For the modern developer, the developer economy is the term, getting that ability to test, self-serve, utilize is a key ability that we're aimed at to support all the data work that we're doing, all the processing. The front door to our transformation is our APIs. It also gives us the ability to help ourselves as well as our customers transform. So if you think about transforming a big system, creating new services, creating new capabilities, customers in our systems alike, we want to manage and mitigate that change. We have a number of large changes going on, and if every system downstream and every customer that's using it is impacted, then we're not effective as an organization. So APIs are a great transformational tool to help manage change and increment through that change with our customers and our partners, as well as helping us internally modernize our systems. It also introduces best-in-class security. So how you access a integration 15 years ago versus today. The marketplace has changed drastically. 15 years ago, we had certain technologies in place. We would maybe connect via SSL and have some credentials passed. Today, we're doing tokenization, OAuth security, all these big buzzwords in technology that really makes it so there are secret stores. We know who you are when you send your right credentials over via those secrets, and we can then give you access to the right things. So part of the problem with APIs and part of the problem with changing your product line, changing the technology, changing how we do things, is how do you get people on board? How do you help the culture change? And through that, we took a multi-step approach. One, we had to get the foundational technology in place. That's the obvious one. We had to get a skill set, centralized to help with the change. And we had to get some processes and governance in place. Our program we launched was around focusing not on the technology, but on the enablement of the whole organization. So how do we work in each part of the business and understand where they are in their journey and what sort of tools and skills and knowledge and support do they need to get to the next step. So our program was evolved to enable the whole organization. We created, you could say we centralized at first with a center of excellence. We didn't like calling it that. And we're really, evolving to enabling the organization into communities of practice. So how do you get people in product together across the organization that care about releasing products and integrating with their customers in a way that allows them to share, collaborate, and learn more about what it means to the company and their customers? How do we get engineers together to go, hey, we've done it this way, and we had the success, or we had these pitfalls, here's how we can solve it together going forward. Communities of practice is a key for us. And we really started to with a centralized governance, but really the intent is for the organization to do it for themselves and have a federated knowledge base and a federated model for how we engage as a company. And the other bit is our main focus for this program is around driving adoption through automation, self-serve, and discoverability of all the APIs. So from internally, what APIs do we have? How can I get hold of them? Or how can I create an API without needing to go to a central group as a bottleneck? Where we had a bottleneck when we started off, getting it to a place where they understand this is mostly on them. As a customer, how do we create an experience up front, a website where customers can come, self-discover the APIs, test it immediately, get access to, let me test it in the sandbox, see what the interaction is going to be like, and then request access to actual product through saying I want to hit test data and I want to go into production. We've got regulatory things that we need to worry about, so we can't obviously give everyone access. But it's stepping them through a cycle that is automated, and they're able to self-serve at their own pace, and we're also able to see and help them get to the next step. So along the way, we've learned a number of lessons. Change is uncomfortable. Cultural change is uncomfortable. Changing technology makes people uncomfortable. So what we've done is, as an API team that engages with the organization, the different sales teams, the different product teams, the different technology teams, we've learned to engage on their efforts, kick off little mini workshops to teach them the tricks of the trade and how to use the tools and the new terms. It could be as simple as what is APIs. It could be as complex as let's load up your new schema into Apogee and get the mock services up and running within a 6-hour time frame. So doing learning sessions, workshops with them to learn, get comfortable with the technology, and then start getting successes on their own. We also found that through those successes that the uncomfortable became more comfortable. Relationships versus org structure. So the company that of the past, where there's big bureaucracy and big silos, where somebody would develop code in their silo, they own the code, they won't share it, or they've got this service they've written and it's theirs. We're really looking to break that down. And the way to break that down is by creating the communities of practice, creating the joint development efforts across the organization and with our customers to eliminate the silos, to work through the problems together, and to empower each team to, if they see a problem, take ownership, jump on it, work with those others that are involved with it, and get to market quick with it. Relationships will make that uncomfortableness okay, because as you build the relationships, you build trust, and you build an understanding that those that you're dependent on, or those that are dependent on you, can trust, and you've got a part in the overall change. So part of the tenets that we sort of launched at Equifax, engineering excellence, you could consider this, we have an engineering handbook. The how are we doing things? Know it. Everyone's required to read it and know it and live by it. Every project is judged based off of where its adherence to what's in there. Sharing code, how we do testing, the whole process from idea through to production is shared and known, and relatable across the organization. Architectural adherence, so API first as an approach, so designing your systems from what interactions are needed, what are the scenarios that we're trying to solve, and how do we best design an experience that's going to work for ourselves or our customers. One team, how do we all come together, own the scenario, and deliver in an autonomous manner to the priorities that are set within that area. My problem, if it spans over to another area, is our problem. How do we work through it together and less silo in nature? Own the outcome. So again, if there's an issue, and you say something, you should be following up with an activity that you do. Owning how to get things done and being perfectly fine with having those conflict conversations that we all resolve because we have the relationships that we've formed. Now, with that, again, APIs, the transformation, the technology is the easy part. It's the cultural transformation that takes time, it takes cycles, it takes successes and failures for everybody to get used to it and learn, move on, and learn to trust each other. With that, I'd like to open up to any questions. Yes?
What are some of the things you've done to improve the culture through all of the transformation that you're going through, with all the work you guys have?
Yeah, so the question was, what have we done to empower or encourage the transformation, the cultural transformation and all this? So I would say some of the big items are forming communities of practice or guilds where people in different disciplines, so if you care about APIs and you care about API products, these are the people who get together across the business. So not just in Atlanta, you're working with people in DC, in St. Louis, all over around the world. We've got Australia on the phone, we've got UK on the phone, going through what it means, training, collaborating, throwing ideas out to say, hey, we want to do this as a company, what's your input? How do we make that successful? Having some of them that have had a big success, share that success and teach the others about it. And that's across the board. So we've got some on data practices, we've got some on trying to think of all the others. We're going to launch one on commerce, on how we create commerce systems and put our products into the web and the experiences there. Some are very technical of nature, and some are very softer, less technical. So that's one tool. The other is living it. So through the processes we do, how we deliver software, we're challenged constantly to collaborate, get out of your seat, learn the people around you, have a relationship, and understand, how it gets to the next level. Yes?
And just kind of to follow up on her question, as Equifax has grown, of course, over the past 20 years, and continues to grow in bodies of different organizations from different parts of the world, how are you kind of embracing that cultural transformation internally, not just from a technology perspective, but from a people and process perspective as well?
Yeah, I would say again, the generic answer is it's in everything we do. We are all in change right now. Literally every aspect of our business is changing. We see the marketplace changing. We're changing with it. It's not just technology. It's in how we think about working with our customers and stepping through problems with them and co-innovating to, hey, we're thinking about doing business with the government. Let's get together and co-innovate with them, create the solutions, create the testing experiences that then go to a real live experience down the line, to having persona-based knowledge about all the different customer touch points and focused on automating things that we used to have a process that had been finely tuned over 121 years, trying to automate those things as much as possible, to how we do development, to how we think about pricing, to how we think about sales. It's literally everything we're doing right now. Yes?
You talked about removing tribal knowledge
Mm-hmm.
amongst, I guess, the products. How did you guys go about democratizing information around the product internally versus externally?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I know it's a loaded question, but
Yeah, it's a tough one because it's something that each area has its own nuance of why that is. And so we look at it from one, create the repositories, create the self-service access, discoverability for us internally to go, what exists out there and what can I reuse, versus, for our customers, what's out there as products and how do they use it. Not too distant past, all customer sales were mostly back office. We're now shifting to doing a lot more discoverability. And there's still going to be a mix. There's going to be certain institutions, the way we sell is we engage back office. We know their management and get them to utilize our products. But we know the economy's shifting, and there's a lot more discovering happening in the self-service market. So for us, it's publishing, documentation, specifications that are clear and easy to use, and not making it such a mystery as to how to do business. It's clear, here's our channels, here's how you use them, and here's how you can get engaged.
Did you run into situations where internally you built these APIs and a particular business unit just kind of refused to embrace that? Or did you find they were like, just keep doing this more and more?
I would say that's part of the beauty of it, is you do something, you have the best intent, and sometimes you knock it out of the park, and other times it falls flat. So the good thing about APIs is creating them is actually the least expensive part of the stack. Creating your how you process data, how you create the compute on top of that to do decisions or models and all this stuff, that's complex. The front door to that, the specification is we could, if you have a service, we could sit here, I can get it up and running within a couple hours. Like specification design, we'll go through nouns and verbs, identify the right way the spec should be done, and then we can deploy it in the system and start seeing a mock service up and running. That's the beauty of it. You can test, monitor, see the results, and then make tweaks, or go, you know what? After a certain amount of time, this isn't the right thing, so let's shut it down and do the right thing.
So you spoke about moving everything to the cloud.
Yeah.
So which cloud provider did you choose to leverage and why?
Yeah. So we are all in on Google GCP. We've all the way from the tools we use day to day to their compute. The decision was made around how their tools and their philosophy to the cloud align to where we're going. How do they empower engineers to do things, build solutions, and the different cloud providers have different philosophies on that, and we align best with the Google world. Not to say we have compute in all sorts of places. Yeah.
So going from the hierarchical structure to the circular structure, how has Equifax handled somebody who might have been a SME for a product for 10 years that had to then distribute their information around the circular pattern? How did you retool them to still be viable to the company?
If I heard the question correctly, it's how do we retool people that are part of our ecosystem? Is that?
To some extent, going from a structure where somebody is a subject matter expert on a particular application, once you distribute that knowledge way, they kind of, in theory, evaluation of them for that particular thing is dispersed.
Yeah,
so how are they retooled to be valuable to the company?
So to the changing role of somebody that was a subject matter expert in one part of the company, how do we find value in their expertise and also adapt their role for the future. Is that what you're saying? So, again, I think all transformations have this problem. There's usually somebody that was really, the go-to guy for or girl for that one system or the one process, and everybody knew you had to go through that. As we create the generic services, that purpose changes to, they still have subject matter expertise that is valuable to the company. We still have systems, processes, industry knowledge that is going to be needed. We also have things that we're creating that will need somebody to, adapt their skill set for that. So it's really an ongoing thing to evaluate the situation, where there was this legacy system that somebody might have the knowledge of that thing and is adapting to a set of microservices running in the cloud with APIs. That business unit, the business context of that is still super important and just as important before, but we've eliminated a bottleneck of everybody has to use that one resource, otherwise everything falls over. Right? So how do we do that? Again, through looking at the roles on teams, on how we deliver things, how that individual or individuals are vital to that team's activities, from prioritization to requirements to designing the new future. Any other questions? Kumar? No, you're good. Another?
I guess one last question. What changes did you guys make culturally to make engineers feel comfortable with being comfortable and take risks? Calculated risks.
Yeah.
But risks nonetheless.
We're still on that journey. It's something, again, it's a rinse and repeat. I think in the keynote there was a talk about habits, and we have times where we're not there, and we still have some areas where the immediate thing is to sort of shy away and
I don't know this thing.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I don't feel comfortable
yeah,
doing it.
exactly. But I think really, again, showing that ownership of the problem and pointing it out and saying, here's what the solution is, I want to be part of it. That's culturally what's happening right now. If we see something not going right, it isn't just to kind of ignore it or say, they're never going to listen to me. It's literally, I guarantee if you open your mouth, you're going to end up involved with it, and it's going to go, and it takes a life of its own. So it is how we live right now. And I think rinse and repeat, the boldness of going, hey, I see this opportunity, here's what we can do to fix it, and working together through it. And with that, any other questions? All right, well, thank you. Thanks for your time today.